There's a habit you've built over the years, maybe decades, that is quietly sabotaging your productivity right now. It is not a bad habit. Until very recently, it was the single most important habit a software engineer could have. But the world changed. And if you don't unlearn it, you will work harder, ship slower, and fall further behind while your peers quietly pull ahead. By the end of this video, you will see exactly what that habit is, why your brain fights so hard to keep it, and how to replace it with something far more powerful. Let's get into it. In 2008, Jeff Atwood, one of the most respected engineers on the internet, wrote a blog called "We Are Typists First, Programmers Second." The argument was simple. The bottleneck in software development is how fast you can translate your thought into code. Master your keyboard, master your IDE, every second of friction costs you. And for 15 years, he was absolutely right. Here is what that belief produced: a generation of engineers, brilliant engineers, who judge their own productivity by how fast their fingers move, who feel uncomfortable when they are not writing, who measure a good day by how many lines they shipped. I know this because I was one of them. And in 2025, GitHub published a study across more than 4,000 developers. The finding was not subtle. AI assisted developers complete tasks 55% faster on an average. Not 5%, not 10%, 55%. And the gains were largest in exactly the work that feels most productive: writing boilerplate, scaffolding features, implementing CRUD operation. The very work that feels like coding is now the bottleneck that we need to eliminate. Meanwhile, Gemini CLI crossed 5 million downloads in its first month. Google's own engineers are running it in their terminals as their daily workhorse for everything from code generation to code-based query. And at the same time, teams doing deep architectural work are reaching for Claude, not because the models are that different in raw capability, but because for complex, multi-file, high-stakes work, Claude's approach to reasoning and safety is a different level of trustworthiness. The tooling landscape has matured. The question is whether our mental models have kept pace. So what's the habit we need to unlearn? It is the belief that productivity lives in writing the code. Let me be precise, because this really matters. The old mental model looks like this. You receive a task, you open your editor, you write code, the value you create is proportional to the code you write. But the new mental model looks like this. You receive a task, you translate it into a precise specification, you orchestrate AI to generate and verify the solution, and you apply judgment to the output. The value you create is proportional to the quality of your judgment. Kent Beck, the inventor of extreme programming, the pioneer of test-driven development, put it this way. He said, AI deprecates formally leveraged skills like language expertise while amplifying vision, strategy, task breakdown, and feedback loops. The skills that made you senior are not gone. They are amplified, but only if you let go of the keyboard long enough to use them. Here is what this looks like across 3 tools that I use every day. Gemini CLI handles the workhorse tasks. I run it directly on the terminal. Quick generation, rapid exploration, fast answers on unfamiliar APIs. It is the tool that I reach for most often, and with a free tier that is genuinely generous, it has zero friction to get started. Claude is where I go when stakes are higher. A complex refactor across 20 files, a security sensitive authentication flow, anything where I need the reasoning to be not just correct, but traceable. Claude thinks out loud in a way that lets me audit the logic, not just accept the output. And the third one, Google's anti-gravity IDE, which launched in November 2025, shows where this is all heading. It's an agent-first environment where instead of writing code, you are managing agents. The mission control dashboard lets you run multiple autonomous agents in parallel while you do the work only you can do: judgment, direction, and verification. And that is the point one. Productivity has moved from execution to judgment. And here is the trap. I see teams fall into this with anti-gravity. They open mission control, they spin up an agent, they give it a vague task, and the agent runs for 10 minutes and returns something that looks complete because it is long and confident. Confidence is not correctness. Length is not quality. The line that separates augmented engineering from expensive vibe coding is this: if you cannot evaluate the output, you cannot use the output. Your domain expertise is the quality gate. The AI is the execution engine. You own both, or you own neither. Now let me close this out. 2 things to take from this video. Contribution 1. The bottleneck in modern software development has moved from execution to judgment. Writing faster is the wrong goal. Specifying precisely, evaluating sharply, and orchestrating intelligently, those are the right goals. Gemini CLI gives you speed, Claude gives you depth. Your judgment gives you quality. All three matter. Contribution number 2. The skills that make you a senior engineer, architecture instinct, domain knowledge, quality standards are not threatened by AI. They are the only things that make AI output trustworthy. You are more valuable than you were 3 years ago, not less, but only if you update the mental model. Here is a surprise I want to leave you with. In a rigorous randomized controlled trial by meter, experienced open source developers using AI tools actually measured 19% slower despite feeling 24% faster. The developers who underperformed were not bad engineers. They were skilled engineers who kept the old mental model and just added AI on top. They used Gemini CLI like a faster keyboard. They used Claude like Stack Overflow. The engineers who win in this era redesign the workflow entirely. That is what the series is about. In the next video, I'm going to show you the exact prompt architecture that produces production-ready output consistently using Gemini CLI as our primary tool, with Claude in the validation seat. A repeatable 4-step pattern you can use starting tomorrow. Like this video, if it shifted how you think, subscribe for the full playbook. See you in the next one.